Live from Radio Row in New Orleans, Louisiana. Super Bowl week, baby. Eagles and Chiefs rematch. Some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment will be right here. Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. It's the Jake Asman Show.
We are live on the Jake Asman Show, live in New Orleans at Radio Row. And joining us for the very first time on this iteration of the Jake Asman Show is, quite frankly, one of the biggest Jet fans out there. It's our guy, Gary V. What's up,
What's
Mr.
up, my
Gary
brother?
V?
Glad we did it.
So this has been a long time in the making. I know you and I caught up before one of the Knicks playoff games, and we were talking about this. We finally made it happen, and unfortunately, it happens after a debacle of a Jet season where we thought, hey, once upon a time, maybe the Jets would be here in New Orleans playing in this game.
Yeah, but at least, thank God, it's happening after we're restructuring and there's some optimism. I think
positivity is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Spielman this morning, I feel like the Aaron Glenn hire, in hindsight, it wasn't as obvious to me when the process started, but it was exactly the hire I think us diehards wanted. And I'm excited about the coaches he's bringing around, and, away we go.
You mentioned Glenn. So were you, like myself, you wanted someone with previous head coaching experience? Was that what you were coveting in this?
Honestly, to be honest with you, it's more of wanted one of these 12-year-old offensive geniuses, right? We've just got so defense for so long. So to me, it was less about someone who's been a head coach before. I can live without that. And I really can. And you've seen so much success around the NFL with people that have not. I was more just probably skewing subconsciously, if not consciously, to, can I just get an offensive genius? We've not gone down that route. We've gone more deep coordinator, as you know.
Unless you count the great Adam Gase hire. He's coaching football to where it's going, Gary.
Yes, I'm aware. I remember that very well. So I would say that was on my mind. And even Adam had already done multiple stints, had already done a stint. And I wanted one of these kind of 29-year-old coordinators. But look, I think the high-low, the young, and the OG coaches that Aaron's brought in have me excited.
Now, you look at Aaron Glenn, and I was always nervous with any first-time coach, but I was blown away by how he handled the press conference, how he answered the Aaron Rodgers question, set the tone with the media right away. You could tell he's played for the Jets. He understood what he was getting into. So he might be a first-time coach, but I'm certainly rooting like heck for this to work, because you could tell how badly he wanted this job and how much it means to him as well.
Well, by the way, whether it's a coach or a player, I remember when Mangini came over and we got all those Patriots. Once someone's a Jet, I'm rooting like heck. There's never been a time for a coach or a player that wears green that I'm not rooting for it to work. So I get that. And yeah, I mean, Aaron knows how to handle the New York media, and that I think is a plus.
For you, how many years have you now been a Jet season ticket holder? Because you go to basically every game. I don't know the last time you missed a home game.
I have been a season ticket holder actually since maybe only 09. I used to just get the tickets from the people I did business with in the liquor business, my childhood. But I've watched every play in real time, no DVR, since 1982. All of them.
Crazy. You've seen a lot of pain, and I just, this year just hurts so much. And I've talked about it on the show. I talk to Jet fans every day. It's just really the culmination of the last two.
That's right.
I've used the words, irreparable damage to this fan base, because I've never been this excited for a season the last 2 years, and for it to go down the way it did, it hurts because of how long it's been without the playoffs. And I truly still believe, you look at this talent on the roster, there is talent on the roster, and that's what made this season so frustrating with all the close losses, the fourth quarter blown leads. It was as painful of a season as I've experienced rooting for the Jets in my lifetime. Yeah,
really the only comp for me as an older Jet fan is 99. We went into that season thinking we were going to win the Super Bowl for sure. We loaded up after the 98 season. We had all the coaches, we had all the players, and obviously Vinny's Achilles went out, and we lost a bunch of games. And then we got hot late with Ray Lucas.
Right.
That was a weird year in a similar way this was. They're different years, but they had similarities to them. This was a super hard year, man. I've seen solid Jet fans, not diehards like us, but I've seen solid, real Jet fans quit. I've known people who've watched for 15, 20 years every game, not watched 10 games this year.
I know a lot of people that have had season tickets through everything, and they haven't renewed because they have the audacity to even increase the prices after this debacle of the last 2 years. I mean, that's shameful.
But you know what's so
renewals
funny?
In November as well. That extremely aggravated the fan base as well, and rightfully so.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I think you can't take fans for granted. I think it's very easy to do that I don't look. I think the Johnson's ownership is much stronger than, I know we're on a down cycle. When they first came, like they won a lot in Jets. In the Jets scheme of things, since he's been owner, they won a lot more than Leon won.
Well, think about it. From 2000 when Woody bought the team through 2016, there was never back-to-back losing seasons.
It was
they were
really
in the playoffs a lot.
And even when they didn't make the playoffs, they would lose on the last game of the season or two. That's become the new thing for me. I just want meaningful football in December. I don't even care. I'm like so beaten down that I just want next year's last game of the year to matter. Even if we need like 7 things to break our way, I just want the season to last longer.
They have not had a winning record since the Fitzpatrick year in 2015. They haven't won more than 7 games since 2015. That's a decade ago. Like when and people don't realize the pain of being a Jet fan, how loyal and passionate this fan base is, how many, real celebrity Jet fans like you are still out there supporting this team. And it's just, I want the loyalty of the Jet fan base to finally be rewarded by the Jet organization.
We all do. I mean, look, I went to every game that year. I physically went to all 16 games in 15. I mean,
incredible.
Sitting in that Buffalo game was just like, it was just crazy. I mean, like I went to Houston and saw Jay Samaro in street clothes. I was like, all right, I guess his career's over.
A great second-round pick, Jay Samaro.
Look, I think we all want it. We're all worried. We're all hopeful. We have a lot of pieces. I mean, do you understand that we have Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, and Quinnen? We have 3 insane defensive linemen. I'm very curious what's going to happen with Sherwood. I want to make sure we re-sign him.
Me too. I had him on the radio a couple weeks ago.
I'm a little worried about that. Yep. We lose him. I'm worried about linebacker. DJ Reed's not going to be back, so we're going to have Eccles is a really nice backup. It'll be interesting to see what they do there. So it's a really interesting time in Jets land because we have a lot of players. Michael Carter, we got Brees, we got Garrett, we got players. It's going to stop and start with what we do at QB because obviously Devontae is a factor in that as well.
Sure. Well, look at the offensive line as well. 4 of your 5 starters are in place, and I hope they bring back Morgan Moses so you have some continuity. You draft someone that could eventually be his long-term replacement. But there's talent on this team. It's just, can they get more from a coaching standpoint? And you brought up Aaron Rodgers. What's your take on what you would ultimately do at quarterback? Would you be comfortable bringing Aaron back for another year as the bridge? Because that's what I want them to do.
I'm personally very, very comfortable with both. I really am. That's fun a little bit for me as a fan. Usually you really skew one way or the other. I am incredibly comfortable if they bring him back. I'm incredibly understanding if the other Aaron, Glenn, wants to start fresh and build his own culture. Because Aaron's, Rodgers, that's a big variable in culture and media and all that. And so I'm just genuinely comfortable. I'm genuinely comfortable, Jake, with either direction they go in that one.
I don't see the alternative that's potentially better. And I get it. There's a lot that comes with Aaron, but you didn't get Devontae back.
Well, hold on. Yes, you get Devontae back.
Are you going to guarantee me 17 games of Tyrod Taylor's health? Because if so, then okay, sure. But this guy, every time he's had the opportunity to start the last 10 years,
and
he doesn't make it through a season.
By the way, if we're starting Tyrod again, which I would be fine with, well, that means we took Jackson Dart at 7 or at by the way, he's going to go in the top 15. He's shooting up the board. It means that their group. I don't know his health, but it means the new regime thinks Jordan is the answer. Like if you're starting Tyrod, you're grooming a quarterback. So to me,
but you could bring Aaron back and still take someone. Trade back into the end of the first round, like what the Ravens did, or early in the second round. That'd be my personal preference.
By the way, that's a very logical, smart way to think about it. They also let's play real life. They also could have at quarterback next year Kirk Cousins, JJ, or Sam Darnold. They could.
Do you think, Sam a little bit?
I know him well.
Do you think he would actually entertain coming back to this market, coming back to this franchise?
I don't know, and I don't like the bullshit. So the answer is I don't know.
Right.
I don't think he has some sort of extreme no way. So I don't think it's a hard no. And I do believe that business is business for a lot of people. And, I don't know where Sam's feeling financially, but if the Jets were disproportionately the best financial option, I think he'd have to consider it. But the answer is I don't know.
Now, in your career, you've often spoke about your dream of one day owning our favorite football team here. One, if you do eventually do that, the only job I want is just director of common sense. And let me explain the positions you would advance. It means when Hassan Reddick's holding out and he shows up, when he goes to his first practice, we don't post him on Instagram coming out to practice, thanking the fans and saying, let's go when the team's 2-5. Director of Common Sense would say, probably not the best look to do that. Fans aren't very happy with Hassan Reddick. We don't want to see it. But like that would be the only thing I want when you one day own the Jets, assuming you still can make that happen, Gary.
Making it happen is going to be incredibly challenging, but I'm doing good work. I feel like over the next 20 years, I can put myself in striking distance. You know, getting fortunate enough that it's the time where there'd be an opportunity. That's a once in a trillion kind of opportunity. We'll see if I get lucky. Ironically, like common sense is like the only thing I think I'm good at. So I would let you have it because you asked, and it's probably my favorite thing. Like common sense is the punchline.
That's right.
I will tell you that one of the great reasons I'd want to be a Jets fan, owner, like truly the owner, is I could never not think like a fan. And so I think a lot of common sense would come with that. By the way, I'm worried about the offensive line. I know you said 4 out of 5.
Yeah, Simpson's good, Tippmann's good, AVT, and I thought Olufashi played really well before he unfortunately went down.
I respect all of that, and yet I could take the counter on almost all of it.
What didn't you like about those guys I mentioned?
AVT's really struggled to stay on the field.
I get it.
And feels subjectively like there's a hair of a step back. You know,
to be fair, he's also coming off an Achilles, so maybe another year removed. He's better.
Well, by the way, this
contract year too.
That's what makes it really interesting to think about. You know, Aaron and Kirk Cousins. The whole second-year Achilles thing is very real. Right. I think someone's going to steal. To your point, that makes me listen. I love AVT personally and as a player. I don't know. Honestly, the firing of the offensive line coach, I think, was extremely long overdue. And
it was also the run game coordinator, by the way.
No shit.
It's
when I tell you how happy that every former and current Jets running back was of that fire, and this, I don't want to be mean to Kevin, but like that just was not working. Yeah, man, we have so many pieces. To your point, like there are so many good players on this team. I wonder if the Jets, I'm very curious if they saw what happened in Washington and go down that route this year. You know, and to break that down further, will they go out and sign a lot of one-year vets that are solid football players and surround them with the youth? This is maybe one of my favorite off seasons because my hopes are last year I thought if everything went well, to your point, we could miraculously be here.
Yeah.
I don't think we can be in the Super Bowl next year. It's just kind of like in me that way, just because but I think we could be a very good football team, which kind of like makes next year a little bit exciting. I'm very excited for free agency and the draft. Very.
I'm excited you finally came on the show. I appreciate you always supporting the show, sharing stuff on social.
Happy to do it.
People are waving you off. So tell people, how could Jet fans in particular, because you're reaching the most amount you possibly can here, how could Jet fans support you and your businesses?
That's very nice. Honestly, all I want the Jet fans to do is support the Jets. And honestly, thank you so much to all of you in the parking lots, on the field, at the stadium, like the hugs and the high fives. Like don't be shy. Don't think I'll big time. You come and say hello. Let's dap it up and let's root for our Jets. It's a big year coming up.
Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, biggest Jet fan in the building here, joining us, and hopefully a future owner of the team as well. Quick break. We're back with more. It's live from Radio Row. Jake Asman with you.